All right, what did you make of last night? Kalimpong wins by 1 point.
Well, we were talking about it, weren't we? At the table, and with we said like these last 8 out of 9 games, he'd be nearly polling maximum points. He just had a terrific end to the year, and the new polling system, there's a whole heap of votes, and that gets all added up. You could get 6 votes, you could get 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1.
Yes.
I mean, it was. It wasn't a surprise. I mean, you think that Sean Johnson was the absolute favourite, and everyone would probably agree with that. But Carlin's back end of the year was terrific, and he deserved the accolade he got. He's probably the best player in the game, and the back end of the season.
He's in the Kangaroos train-on squad, isn't he?
He's there, He's there. He's around. His shoulder's good, which is great.
Yep.
He's we picked that next week, mate. So.
Did you have a chat to him last night? After the award, it gets mad. So.
No, it's a mad night, as you know. Yeah. So it's very difficult to have those conversations. It's pretty full on. There's a lot of awards, prior or even prior to the coverage itself. So, more or less kept ourselves, didn't we?
Yeah.
So and then obviously get away as quick as you can.
Yeah. Okay. So what about Kalen wins it? Sean Johnson probably a little unlucky. Do you have a concern around the system? Do you think there could be a better system? They've tweaked it this year, but there's a lot of people suggesting that, like Nico Hines last year, if you're a good player that really stands out in one team as opposed to a team like the Broncos or the Panthers where there's lots of players polling points, there's an advantage.
Oh, there definitely is an advantage. And there's an advantage for a spine member who touches the ball a lot, plays 80 minutes as opposed to like Payne Haas polled unbelievably well, considering he's a forward, so because he only plays, 40, 50, 60 minutes, so, and less recognisable. So, it's always been like that, though, forever and a day. And generally your spine members are going to, win the award because they're there more often and they have probably a influence or more influence than any other player on the footy field.
Tamika Upton, I think, was a universal yes from everyone.
I was surprised everyone else got close, to be honest with you. I watched a lot of the NRLW, and she's outstanding. Yeah. Outstanding athlete. You can see she played a bit of touch when she was younger. She's got great ball skills and she's great awareness, good decision maker and damn quick. Yeah. So she deserved the award.
And then the other, I think she's Rockhampton. Did you say she's Rockhampton?
Another Rocky girl. Yeah. So Carlin's Mackay, so a couple of Queenslanders.
Here we go. The other thing about it was, so looking at the physiques of the girls bring a great glamour to the Dally M. They've got incredible physiques, but Tamika is very slight. Yep. And she's still the elite player in the competition.
But fit and strong.
Yeah.
So I mean, I remember, when we started all the NRLW and the international program again way back in 2016, you just look at the girls now, you look at their skill set, how talented, how fit, their body shapes have changed, their decision-making's better, their skill set's better, better kicking game, more awareness on the footy field. It's they've gone leaps and bounds in a short period of time, and that's why it's followed so well, and that's why the game is getting right behind it and supporting it.
I remember 3 years ago I spoke to Brad Donald, the Gillaroos coach, and it was during the COVID time when we talked about getting a game on. Look, why don't we play against the rugby girls and, get some interest in. And he said, oh, nah. And I said, oh, why not? And he said, oh, they're advanced. They're 10 years advanced on us physically.
Yep.
I wonder what his thought would be on that now when we've had some pre-season.
We've actually talked about this and his belief now, so they have been advanced, but we've caught up really quick.
Yes.
And to the fact now where rugby girls are coming to us and playing, so we're becoming the dominant winner sport in obviously the rugby codes at least. So AFLW that goes pretty good too as well. So but he's you look at the athletes, it's a different. I mean the 15 in women's, I think is probably struggling a little bit. Certainly their sevens. Girls are excellent.
Yes.
They're highly successful and very fit and agile and skillful. But when you talk about the 13s game, I think it's probably a better game. It's more fitted to different body shapes and skill sets and things like that. And I feel that our game, the rugby league game, more suits the women the rugby game does.
I would love to know or look at the end of 24 when the Olympics are done, because I think there'd be a lot of girls in that system go rugby sevens Olympics. I want to go to the Olympics. And then when the Olympics are over or they don't make that Olympic side, they'll look very clearly at the NRLW.
Well, clearly that's the advantage of staying in rugby, of course. You
Yep.
know, you get the opportunity, playing in a competition, global competition, the sevens, but also the Olympics as well, which is, obviously regarded the biggest sporting event you can ever participate in, and that's the excitement. And, one day I'm kind of hoping that rugby league gets an opportunity, maybe in nines. I quite like the nines concept. Brisbane's got 2032 Olympics. I'd love to see maybe an exhibition game in the nines occur, over that period of time. So, yeah, it's interesting. If we can sort of start to get that parallel with rugby when you talk about the Olympics and things like that, well, then you'll see I think a big flow of women come and play our game.
And that's exactly right from a US point of view. So the great attraction for rugby in the US is if you're really good at it, you get to go to the Olympics.
Exactly right. Yeah. And then obviously you don't quite make, particularly in the men's, you don't quite make that NFL level, or you know. So there's another tier for them, another pathway for them, and like you say, playing on a world stage in the Olympic is pretty good attraction.
Andrew Webster, Dally M Coach of the Year. Thoughts?
I thought he deserved it. Closely followed by Kevin Walters, I feel, and Ivan obviously. Ivan's had tremendous success, but I always hold a view that when you look about success, it's all around longevity. I think I've said that a number of times, and he just keeps his teams at the top. The first at 1 and 2, I think the last 4 years in a row, his teams have finished on. So I guess they're getting a bit sick of Ivan in a way, but then Kevy's taken his team, from out of the 8 last year straight into a grand final achievement, and then obviously Andrew Webster, who's taken Warriors from the bottom of the ladder to one game off the grand final. So, and it's great. I think from a rugby league point of view, and if you want to have a populist type of vote around all this, it's great to see rugby league in New Zealand kicking on and starting to be the number one followed sport over there, particularly now at the moment. And there's a great uplift of support. So hopefully the game and the Warriors get on the back of that, and keep the profile of the game going over there.
I was speaking to Cameron George after the event, and said, "Give me the 3 biggest reasons why that you've had this success this year." He said, "Number 1, undoubtedly, going home.
Yep,
just had a huge impact." And he said, "Then Andrew Webster coming," and then he said, 3 was the influx of those players like your Mitch Barnetts, your Dylan Walkers, Jackson Ford. He said they just compete all the time. Everything's competing. And he said that just went right through the group.
Yeah, and I think culturally, I think Tohu Harris has done a big job over there. I mean, he's a great leader, and all reports come in out there how he just gathers the fellas together and the families together, and they're really tight-knit. Always doing special things with the whole group, and creating that bond, that mateship that you really need to win competitions.
When Andrew Webster was doing his acceptance speech, which was a really good one too, it was fantastic. They cut to the Warriors table, and Tohu Harris had a smile from ear to ear on his face, didn't he? Enjoying someone else's success.
The good thing about what Andrew said first was he paid all respects to his wife.
Yes.
And, they're the sort of forgotten people sometimes in, players' success, and the other way around with the women's sport as well, So the partners are the forgotten, duo in all that, So it was great to see him pay respects to his wife up, because without the sacrifices they make with kids, and they had a baby through the year as well, so... And then they're travelling around all over the place, because he's been over in England and coached over here, obviously. He went to America to do things as well, and now he's in New Zealand. So he's much travelled. So, and his wife's been there all the way. So, it's always good when you captain and your coach get on really well.
Yes.
And it was good to see Tahu obviously acknowledge how great Andrew's been for him and the group this year.
The other one I thought was a nice moment on the night, Sunia Taruva was announced as the Rookie of the Year, presented by Petro Sivanasiva, the great Fijian, and then presenting to a young Fijian. It was fantastic.
Very, very symbolic, wasn't it? And he's had a terrific year. I don't think you can deny, him getting that award. Young young Dream.
Yeah.
Muller, he's up to another Fijian fella. So
Yeah.
it didn't really matter really if what Petro was did it. It didn't really matter what
No.
he did. So they won. So. And, Petro's heavily involved in the Fijian side, and Taruva's part of all that too, which is great. And they play in the Pacific Cup up in PNG shortly as well. But he's got to get through the grand final first.
He announced himself, didn't he, in that game that he played for Fiji middle of the year last year?
Yes, the PNG side.
Against the PNG, he had a spectacular game.
Unbelievable. And then the times I think he only played about 2 or 3 games last year. It was outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. As Ivan mentioned last night in his little chat, and he spoke terrifically well. He's handled everything.
Yeah, that's right.
A
lot of people, Tony, talking about suggestions about Dally M voting system rather than the 3-2-1. But we were just talking about it in the break, Mal. You got an idea?
Well, I think was mentioned here that the old system with the Rugby League week where you rate each player out of 10, for their performance each weekend. So I think that's a fairer system because you get a front row. We used the example front row who plays 40 or 50 minutes. He's got a different role that he plays in the footy team. And if he plays his role really well, he'll get an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. So I think that enables then that consistency of performance and scoring over the whole entire year, so that it's just not conditioned around, that 3-2-1 or where you get to get the halfback or the fullback or the hooker or something like that getting those points.
So it might be 24 rounds, top 20 games. So your bottom 4 scores get taken out because there might be injuries, and so you get the best the top 20 scores.
Yeah. So you get valued each week based on your position and what your role is in that team. So if fullbacks have a fantastic game, he might get a 9 out of 10, but your front rower, like I say, he's had a fantastic game, but only played 40 minutes, he might get a 9 out of 10. So it's just more equal and, as far as in fair, I reckon, around how you play each week.
Yeah. Rugby League Week used to do it, as we said. Rugby League Week Player of the Year. Did you ever win one of those?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I was going to pull you up on that.
No.
Here we go. What year?
Sorry.
What year?
Oh, early 90s, I think,
Very early 90s.
Was it?
1990.
1990, was it? Yeah.
1990.
Good year. Good year for the Raiders.
So there you go. So looking at Ray Price won it in 1986.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lock forward winning it. Ben Elias, Gavin Miller, Mal Meninga, Ewan McGrady, Paul Langmack, back rower.
Yeah.
Who else? Lyons, Daly, Langer, Fittler. Andrew Johns won 5 in a row. But Nathan Hindmarsh won 2 of them, and Luke Bailey won 1.
Well, there you go. See, so it's a bit more better spread of your positions. But you look at the Dally M's, it's mainly like the spine again, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the last one was Jason Tamalolo, but he equalled with Cooper Cronk.
Tamalolo won the 2016 and very last Rugby League Week Player of the Year.
There you go. So I just, that's just my thoughts on it all. But, the system at the moment, they've tried to tweak it, and it's probably a bit fairer this year, the way they did it. But, I thought the Rugby League Week way of doing things was quite good because you get rated every week on your performance.